Hello MIC staff, this video is intended to show you how to use the Zoom app to participate in Zoom meetings and how to host Zoom meetings and enable teacher controls as well as the waiting room and some of the other functionality like sharing your screen. The first thing I'm going to do is open up the Zoom app on my iPad, and I've already scheduled my meeting, so I'm going to go to the Meetings app over here on the left, and right now my demonstration for using Zoom on an iPad has started, so I'm going to click on that. I have the ability here by clicking Add Invitees to add additional users, but if I'm ready to start my meeting, I can go ahead and hit Start. It is going to ask me whether I want to connect using the internet audio or dial-in. I'm going to go ahead and choose Call using internet audio, and it's going to tell me that I'm now using device audio. And in this particular meeting, since I'm the host, I have participants already waiting in the waiting room. And so if I click in the top right corner of my screen, so if I click up there, it'll bring up this bar. I can click on participants. It's telling me who's in my waiting screen, and it's telling me right now that the only participant is me and that I'm the host. So if I start admitting participants, it has now added that user in. I can also admit the remaining, or if I'd like, I can use this Admit All button here at the top. That will automatically admit everyone in that list. You can see here I have buttons to mute all, and I can choose whether or not I want to allow participants to unmute themselves or not by checking this box. But here I'm going to go ahead and mute all the participants. And it will go ahead and mute everyone. I also have a button to unmute everyone. So if I unmute everyone, it opens up their microphone. I'm going to go ahead and mute them again. And you can see that it turned off that sort of feedback that we received there. I also have the ability by clicking on, so if I go back to participants, if I click on any one of these individual participants, so if I click on Diana Sparta, I get options for what I would like, what I can do with those participants. If I want to rename the participant, I can rename them if they did not use their appropriate name. So I can change Diana to just Diana S, and Diana S has now been renamed. I can also ask them to start their video, or I can put them back in the waiting room. So if I inadvertently let someone in that I do not want to be part of the meeting, I can put them back in the waiting room, and then you can see here that Diana S is now in the waiting room, and I can re-admit her. I can also ask them to start their video or chat with them individually. Or I can unmute their audio if they're having difficulty doing that themselves. So that's just how to manage some of those participant entries and some of those teacher controls there. The other thing that I wanted to show you is over here switching to gallery view. If I switch to a gallery view, it is going to allow me to see all of the people that are in my meeting. Please note that if you have more than just these 9 people in the meeting, you can swipe left and right to see the rest of the people in the meeting. So you won't be able to see all 20 of your kids all at the same time, but by swiping left and right, you can see 9 at any given time. But you do have a view that will show you all of the students that are participating. When you're in gallery view, you'll have this option here to switch back to active speaker view. The difference between gallery view and active speaker is gallery will show you all the thumbnails, or at least 9 of them at a time, and the active speaker will keep it focused on who's actually talking at that time, and so the person that appears on your screen will shift as that happens. So that's the gallery view versus the active speaker view. Underneath these more options, I have some additional settings. I can check my meeting settings, and you can see here I do have the ability to lock a meeting. When a meeting is locked, no one else will be allowed to join that meeting. So you have the ability to lock a meeting once it's started, or unlock it. You have the ability to enable or disable the waiting room. You can allow participants to share their screens or rename themselves. And you can do things like touching up your appearance, or different things like that. So those are some additional functionality that you have within the Zoom app once the meeting is started. Up here at the top, you can see options for unmuting yourself. So at this point, I have now unmuted myself, or starting my own video. If I start my own video, you can see I now appear on this screen. And if I stop my video, it's only going to show my name, as well as what my caption, my picture is there. If you would like to share content from your screen, you can share content. And you can see here, Betsy has sent me a message saying that she can't hear me. And that's normal because I'm doing the screen recording. I'm actually routing my voice to Adobe Audition on my laptop so that I can do a voiceover. I can respond back to her and say, that's okay. I have muted my mic. In this chat function, you can see that Betsy sent this message to me privately, and I'm responding to her privately. But down here at the bottom, it'll give you the option to send private messages to any of the participants or sending messages to everyone. So here, I can just say, don't worry if you can't hear me. Excuse me, sorry about that. I will see those messages here in the chat. To open up the chat, it's here under the More options, and you click Chat. So again, if you click under those three dots and you click More, you can see the chat option right there to be able to participate in the chat. If we now start talking about sharing our screen and sharing content, again at the very top, if I click Share a Photo, I can choose a photo. It asks me if I wanted to allow, I'm actually going to share that one instead, that I wanted to allow Zoom to access my camera roll. Here I'm going to go ahead and share this particular picture, and so now anyone that's within that Zoom meeting that I'm in is seeing the picture that's on my screen. So this picture could be a document, it could be the learning grid, it could be anything in front of you that you'd like to take a picture of and share out with your students. So you can share those pictures like that. I'm going to click on that share content button again to stop sharing. And again, if I come back here and share content, I can also share things within my Google Drive. So if there's PDF files, if there's movies, and it's going to ask me to sign into my account. Again, you will not have to do this every time. You're essentially just giving Zoom access to applications within or files within your Google Drive. So you'll really only have to do this once. Oh, and I changed my password several days ago. Okay, so at this point I have the ability to share all sorts of different things from my Google Drive. This is actually showing my full Google Drive folder. So let's say I wanted to share let's go back. I want to see what I can share. Here's a PDF, for example. So this is a PDF that I have in my Google Drive. I can now share it with my students so that they can reference the materials that I'm talking about. Again, to stop sharing, you can see the stop share button here in the top right, so that'll allow you to stop share. Other things that you can share is you can definitely share website URLs directly. And so if I wanted to direct someone to our website, Mercer Island, I am now sharing a website with my participants, and then I can direct them to perhaps maybe the learning grids. So if I'd like to direct them to the learning grids, I'm going to pull up the pre-K 5. We're in the week of April 20th, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up this particular PDF is password protected, and that's what's coming up right there. But I'm now sharing the learning grid with my students. Those particular learning grids and how to open that. So if I go in and share from Google Drive, and if I choose a video that's in Google Drive, it's going to go ahead and share the video that I created. So at this point, you can go through the various YouTube videos or videos that you've created or PDFs or documents with your students, and they will see what you're seeing on your screen and allow you to provide that remote instruction. I'm going to go ahead and click Stop Share again. For my participants, again, if we're ending the meeting, I can choose any of my participants and I can remove them. So here I'm going to go ahead and remove Keith Wildermuth. And I've now removed Keith from the meeting. And then once I'm finished, I can end the meeting. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you don't choose this leave meeting. The leave meeting will remove you from the meeting, but the others will be able to remain in. You want to choose end meeting. And then that will end the meeting for everyone. So that's a quick video that will show you how to use the Zoom app to conduct Zoom meetings on your iPad. Thanks a lot.